everyone. Happy Inauguration Day. This is the third time I have tried the video. It's been wonky. Sorry. So my level of enthusiasm, and I was almost done with the last video, and it just technology. Okay, so I did the super greens. This is the keto tea. I did the super greens. You gotta love my dog barking in the background. Um, I was catching a little bit, and one of the reasons why the super greens is really cool is like I took some time off and didn't do anything, and that was not good for my body, clearly, because my body came back and was like, I'm gonna need you to get back on your workout regimen. It's calling me, it's telling me. It is also telling me that I need to get back to my greens and stuff. And if you eat unhealthy, then it needs to be in very small portions. And I was just like, you're right, body, you're right. So I got a little sniffle on Sunday, and I was like, the Lord rebuke you, because anytime you get a sniffle, you automatically think, do I got coronavirus? And seeing that my son's teacher and my daughter's teacher at one point, she fought it. She was both of them ended up in the hospital. My son's teacher currently is in the hospital, and is taking the rest of the year off, the rest of the school year off. So I just hope she makes it through. But I want to tell you that I've been using Clean and Clear only because of my husband. My husband is the one who's like, in the Clean and Clear, I was like, I'm grown. No offense to him, but he's been using it for years, and some things he just doesn't want to change up on. And then I used it with Lancome, the green one. The green one is the oil, and I've used all three now. The green one's for oily, the blue one's for combination, and the pink one's for dry. And the pink one is okay. I'm not a gigantuan fan of it, but I have a lot of it. So, but the oily one doesn't have a scrub, so they should do that. They should work on that. The blue scrub, to me, I like the pink scrub. I don't like the pink toner. I think that's the problem, the pink rose. But anyway, I would say that the deep action is something that I was like, no, we're going to finish this sucker. And so I finished it, and I really, really liked it. And it's, inexpensive. By the way, the gel, I would say has lasted for about 3 months, just to give you a perspective. If you wash your face every day, and if you I only use it once a day. My evening, I use something totally different. So, and I have enough facial products at the moment to get me through the rest of the year. Hypothetically, I don't buy anything else, and I actually just bought a couple things because I want to try something else to see how that works. I want to try a different scrub. So scrubs are getting kind of harder to come by. Oh, and then also, Burke Williams has this shower mist that I am just so in love with. Actually, I know the cost of it, just in case if you, ooh, $29. That's expensive. Um, but it's worth it for if you have a code. And so I just had like literally a couple days. Usually because of the air is dry during the winter, I get a little thing with my nose. I mean, I was only like, when I say real, sick, I was kind of sick a little bit on Monday. Tuesday, I was like, oh Lord, I'm really going to go through. And it was like, woke up this morning clear. Actually, by last night, no sniffles, no blowing the nose, no nothing. Vitamins. I have a bunch of vitamins over there, probiotic, everything else. And my shower mist squirted everywhere. Also, when you have a cold, you should have some citrus. I had some orange out of orange, and another thing is prune juice. Get all that stuff out of you. Like, I do prune juice at least like once a week. My husband's all like, well, what's going on with you? And I'm like, nothing. It's called just prune juice. I actually like the taste of prune juice and I love prunes. Strange, I know. Anyway, let's talk about, I mean, this inauguration. Why is this inauguration so interesting? It's just that it's so normal. I think back to the 2016 inauguration. I was in such angst because you had all of his picks, and his picks were like devilish. Just who would pick these people? And so today it's just such a there's a lot of things that we normally A would never see, and B things that we, like we normally just see the inauguration and it kind of just goes away, and then you see all the parties and stuff at night. Today it's so somber, and like right now they're at they're at the cemetery, and it's like very very strange. But also I'm imagining that it's easier for them to move about the city, going from place to place, because there's no people and there's no crowd. And I think it makes it kind of fun to think. I don't know about y'all, I didn't watch, nor did I cared about Donald Trump's farewell thing, right? And so the fact that he wasn't here, the fact, I think that's okay. It is as if he didn't exist. That's how it seems. And um Jimmy Carter's at the house, which he should be. The man's like almost 100. I just uh it's so normal and so somber that it's just so strange. Like, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, man, it's so strange. Huh. Huh. Cuz the longest president before was the longest living president right now is Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter should be at the house. It's too cold for them to be out there. And then you have Jimmy Carter, and then you have the next one would be now President Clinton, because Bush Sr. and his wife are both dead. And then it'll be George Bush, and then it's about, so we have um uh four former president. Oh, my bad. Trump is number 5, but he's not there. So, anywho, I want to talk about One Night in Miami. Let's talk about One Night in Miami. One Night in Miami. Amazing. One Night in Miami is amazing. And I want to say one of the things that makes it so amazing is that there are so many little moments of when we have these conversations, these moments, these are things that inflections in time in which friends have gotten together, influential people have gotten together, and have made decisions that had ramifications that lasted for generations. And I think that people don't realize how the friendship that they had. And part of the reason, there's so many reasons why. And if you watch the 2 killings of Sam Cooke, right? So it's on Netflix and it's remastered on Netflix. It does lead you to have like a really good conversation about what's happening, right? About what happened with his death. So beautiful to look at Kamala. And Kamala's like, what am I supposed to be doing right now? I don't salute. Anyway, it's just too much. Anyway, okay, so sorry, I got sidetracked. Um, it reminded me of a conversation that took place with James Baldwin and Bobby Kennedy and Harry Belafonte, and it's and some others, and they all sat in a room and they talked to Bobby about um, what Kennedy, how they treated Martin Luther King, how the FBI was investigating him and bugging everything, and and they were being followed, and how Hoover was, treating him, like all of these kind of things that were taking place, and how, because we can never forget that we didn't trust Bobby Kennedy. And there's a really good documentary on Netflix too about Bobby Kennedy. It's a three or four part series, and that conversation changed Bobby Kennedy in a real substantial way, to the point where he became more civil rights focused than his brother ever was, which is why to this day my mother mourns Bob. Like, when we talk about these things, and my mother and I talk about this stuff all the time, right? And so when we talk and I ever bring up Bobby, she pauses, because Bobby Kennedy had such a significance to her versus anybody else. And this is one of the reasons why the Kennedy family has a special place. I still think that John Kennedy III should be Kamala's VP. I said it. I still think it. I mean, he has a special place in many people's heart, the Kennedy family, and I don't understand why. Maybe because he didn't want it, but because he gave up his house seat to run for Senate, which was a stupid move. And I would love to see John Kennedy III involved in the administration. I mean, he has a bounce back that's going to be forever. So, anywho. Anywho, okay, so it that's what this movie was about, because people, his to me it reminded me of, and people don't realize that what it struck me, because I also watched, and I've watched it before, Selma, and I didn't realize that 2 weeks after his Martin Luther King's speech in Selma, he actually was assassinated, right? And so there's also this level of, he was also assassinated a few days after this meeting in Miami, so he never got to really see the trueness of everything. And I just, it also makes me pause and think how much we revere Martin Luther King, and people don't know the body of work of Martin Luther King. He was not this, like, he was a revolutionary thinker. He was not a man who was a pushover and docile. Like, don't put him into this box And just because his rhetoric wasn't as abrasive as Malcolm X, they weren't that far distant, which is why it was strange. This is why I think that they clashed, but then they can come together and realize they were coming together at the end. They not that far apart. They may have different approaches, but they not far apart at all. Equality of a man, um, and being aware of who we are as people, I think is something that is with an economic empowerment, um, economic value, uh, educational free understanding and placement of knowing your history. All of those things were encompassed in both of their missions and understanding. It's just that, Malcolm X was a little bit more abrasive in his approach. But let's pause for a hard moment. And what bothers me is that we really don't accept Malcolm X. And I say that because um because it's true. And what's so, I mean, and it also makes me think about how there are so many flaws within many of us. So, but we expect these leaders to be flawless. So, even if Martin Luther King, many people don't want to believe that he had relationships with other people. Okay. Outside of his marriage. I honestly don't know. And then we can say, does it even matter? I don't know if it matters or not. It matters to Coretta, and that's his wife. Does it tarnish his legacy? No. Um, we know that Malcolm X definitely didn't cheat because he had some sexual issues. Um, Even though they got kids, and Betty was like, "I'm not satisfied." I Don't ask me which book I was reading, and don't get mad in the comments, if there are comments, only because that was in her handwriting, not me hallucinating about Malcolm X. Anyway, I just thought that the movie was good. I do think that people may not receive this film very well, simply because that's the world we live in. I'm not even trying to be positive and all of that jazz, but people are going to be critical because people are. And like today, like I actually had an argument with a fellow Pepperdine alum, and they were upset that Dr. Cornell West was going to be speaking at Pepperdine. Let me tell you that as a college freshman, so I was 16 years old, Cornell West came and spoke. And I was like, what is this? Who is this man? What is he talking about? This is when his Racial Matters book came out. And it hit something in me, but I was just like, I gotta be here. Like, I'm only here because I gotta be, because you have to go to Mandatory Chapel. What bothers me, and so I was like, first of all, to this white person, it bothers me that we are back here on talking about what person should and shouldn't speak at Pepperdine. Um, I think this is it. It touches a 10 point for me, because at Pepperdine, because my dissertation just finished and it just published. and they were talking about, and um, it was just published. Why does that matter? Oh, because that they were having this same conversation about Carmichael. Should Carmichael come and speak? And they blocked him from speaking. And it's the same thing that you guys are. And then, so he called him like divisive and on, and this divisive person about race. It's like, I'm gonna need you to pause hard. This is the problem with Pepperdine, and why I, even though I introduced my child to Pepperdine, both of my kids, I'll go and I'll sport the wave. They got t-shirts, and I'll go to stuff of theirs, and no, I haven't paid membership fees. I have donated though. I'll do that. I'll do all of that. And I'm not going to say that going to Pepperdine hasn't benefited me. It has. So I'm not even going to dispute any of that. But don't you just love that? But my kids are going to a HBCU because I don't want my children to live through the trauma. They're going to live through the trauma of white supremacy. I'm not going to sit here and say we shall overcome, because so I will say in realistic terms that I want my child undergrad at least to be baked into the friction that will be had with an interracial friction, versus because they're going to have a lifetime of white supremacy. My kids golf. It's going to be a lifetime of white supremacy. They have an education. I mean, they're going to have a career. And as I sit here and I struggle about what my career is going to be, and I do sit and struggle with that. I do. I really, really do. I sit and struggle with it because I actually do want to go and work at a HBCU. Like, that is the primary thing. And I don't want to leave California. Oh, I'm so all over the place. I don't want to leave California. So I would like to do, summers at HBCUs, like at different HBCUs during the summer, or teach at different HBCUs or something like that. I don't see, I don't see how I can, or maybe do like a sabbatical year and teach someplace for at a HBCU for a year or something, and then come back to Cal. Like, I mean, just to kind of have that level of fluctuation. I just don't want to. But anyway, I want my kids to go there. I've been watching a little bit of everything, and so there's that too. I know I need to do more reviews, and I know I need to come back here much more. So I apologize, and I will put this on the top burner of everything. So I'm just looking at the inaugural parade, and y'all, I can't believe we lived through 4 years of Trump, and it was so close to being 8 years, 4 more years. Jesus, Lord have mercy. Anyway, have a great rest of your day.